Life is a journey. So, for most people, life is a very slow journey, and for the average person, you're pretty much going to be looking at inherently a pretty average life of usually you go to school, you maybe come out of high school, and then you go into university, and then you get your degree and go to work. And it's a very, I would say the early life is a fairly fast progression, as in you get your degree and you get to a job, you get a good earning, and that's the fast route. But then it slows down, and then you kind of settle down. Usually you settle down or don't with somebody, and then you build a normal life and you go about your normal life, as most people will do in life. They don't really have any bigger aspirations and things like that. um, for most people though, life is still a slow journey. Most people don't know what they're doing. They find that time might be even maybe not going slowly, but people might find that time is going fast, yet they're not achieving a lot with the time they have, or they're wasting a lot of time on useless things, which inherently makes life go by fast because they're having a lot of distractions in life. But in reality, they actually have a lot of free time that they aren't spending on something useful, which they are not realizing because they're using these distractions to inherently get to a place and point where they don't really have anything better to do, so they just use the distractions to waste time, and then they don't realize they wasted time, and so they don't really have any progression in life, and their journey of life is actually very slow, but they just don't realize um, how they're spending their time. Now this gets me to the next part. The best time to start is now, as they say, best time to plant a tree is now, rather than starting in the future, like, oh, I'm gonna start in 5 years, like, or I'm gonna start at this point. It's like, if you can do it now, do it now. That's the best way to go about in life. If I plant a tree now, it's gonna grow in years to come. If I plant it in 2 years, then it's only gonna start growing then. So if I start, for example, a business now, it's more likely to succeed if I put in years of effort now rather than 2 years down the line. When I start starting, then I have to kind of learn everything, and it's going to take more time. So if you can start early, you should start early with anything you're trying to do. That's kind of the early advantage you might have if you can figure out what you want anyway. I'm not saying everybody should build a business or do that. This could be really anything. Maybe you just want to study something, like, I don't know, if you want to go for being a doctor, you could start doing that early before a lot of other people, or figure out when you're really young what you want to do. And that's going to give you a huge advantage inherently in life if you can figure out something you really are passionate about, or you have a talent for something, or you've built something up that could be good for you. Now, life is going to be ups and downs, and you're going to face in your life journey ups and downs all the time. It's going to be negative and positive. Sometimes you might have long periods of negativity followed by long periods of positivity, and again negativity and positivity, or you might have a mix of both, so like maybe a month of negativity and then a couple of months of positivity, etc. You can have these phases which you have to go through. I would say if you're just starting out in like a self-improvement journey, it might be very negative for a while, like even months, like 3 to 6 months, till you really start seeing the results of it. So that's kind of something you have to prepare for. It's just the ups and downs on your journey to success or whatever you want. And through the ups and downs, you're going to learn inherently important life lessons and skills, as well as just being able to handle different situations. So it's going to help you in the long run on your whole life. And at the end of the day, once decades have passed, you have all that experience and knowledge and self-confidence once you've gone through life as a journey and you've put yourself out of your comfort zone and done things in life. So next we'll talk about things will come and go from your life. So in your life you'll have things that will stay, most likely. Most of them are most likely going to be you and the things you have, and then you have things outside of your control that you can't control. Like if your girlfriend or boyfriend leaves you, that's something you can't control. So things are just going to leave your life sometimes, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And the only things you really have that will most likely stay always is your family, yourself, the things, some of the things you own at least, as well as your achievements, career, things like that, as well as your closest friends, more or less, unless something bad happens. So that's the things you do have kind of control over. Not every one of those, but those are the things that are most likely to stay in your life. The other things like relationships and things like that aren't always things that will stay in your life, because people change and move on and things happen. So it is what it is, and you have to kind of deal with it as you go along your journey. But I think the most important part in your own journey is figuring out what you want, and to start as early as possible to figure out what you want from life, because the earlier you figure that out, the better it is for you, because then you can kind of start working towards that. Like maybe write down, what do you want to do, where you want to travel, what do you want to achieve, what do you enjoy, all these things, and figure out what is it that you actually want from life and the world, and then go after those things. Because one day you might not be able to, so you should be able to figure them out as early as possible, so you can be like, okay, I want to go travel there at one point in my life, maybe once I'm richer, I want to go there and do that and whatever. I want to have, I don't know, family by this point and things like that. So you can kind of start working towards them and have an idea what you need to do in your life. Now, also the important thing is to not be aimless in life, because there's a lot of people that just kind of, they might go to university and just be aimless. They don't really have any idea. They're just partying and doing stupid shit. That's fine and all in moderation, like partying and things like that, but you know, and yes, university sort of gives you a structure as well as like a idea what you should be doing, but it's mostly people just pick something from university because they can't figure out anything else, which is fine, you know. If it's what you enjoy, then you should go after that and do what you want. But if you actually want to do something else, you should also at least try to look into what else could you do that you're passionate about. I think that's something most people lack in life, is they're not maybe passionate about a lot of things. Or they have hobbies, but they don't use them to their advantage or think of anything outside the box, for example, with their hobbies. Like maybe they could actually turn a hobby into a career at some point if they want to. But if you want to keep it as a hobby, then you can do that as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is just if you want to do something more, I would say, more or less, advice for that. My advice would be to compare yourself to yourself, obviously, but also compare the people you actually want to be like. So you can take inspiration and all these things from the people you look up to, and then compare yourself to those people and see what work you have to do to get to where they are at, where you want to be. This could be anything, any career where you see the people at the top and you want to be like them, then you aspire to be like them. And that's the best mindset to go about it. It's just you have to go after what you want, so that at the end of the day you can achieve this sort of sense of fulfillment and success from what you want. And I think the best thing is to have a goal, a vision of what you want exactly. Maybe it's a dream body, maybe it's a dream career, or a place where you want to live, or whatever. So you know what you're aspiring for, and that's the most important thing, is having that vision in your head so you can remember what you're doing and working towards, so you don't get down and you can keep yourself disciplined. In conclusion though, life is a very long journey, as well as you're gonna have all kinds of problems in life, and there's nothing I can do in this video to help you overcome those things. That's something you have to figure out, and I have to figure out all the things that happen to me. And life is a unique journey for everybody, and everybody has different tastes, interests, goals and things like that, and you just have to find the people that are good for you and that support your goals in life and aspirations and whatever it is for you. Anyways, I hope you got some advice from this video, and see you in the next video. And if there's a will, there is a way.